We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back, all become a fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what do you do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was Trained by all of the Shonen Jump protagonists. This is part 38. And yeah, it's been a while since I last posted, which, if you guys remember, the last time I basically posted, it was mainly because, remember when I said that it's not making the numbers like it used to? Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case for this one, to be honest, as well. Which, again, makes sense, because what if videos, especially on that of MHA, aren't really doing as well outside of the people who copy and paste fanfic writers from that of fanfic sites, and also use AI voicing for that of the stories after all, which pisses me off, and it basically puts away all the hard work that what if content creators such as myself do. So yeah, honestly, I probably won't be posting this series as much as I used to, unfortunately. Sorry guys. But that little rant out of the way, let's go to that of a quick recap. In the last part, we went over on how Izuku is trying to understand that of his new cursed gear given to him by Najimi Nanami from Madaka Box, and was going to understand the demon inside of the cursed gear, as the demon's name, Izuhima, a demon that has the power to control light, as it wanted to take over Izuku's body by basically showing him all of his worst memories and haunting him and tormenting him with them. However, Izuku was able to overcome each and every one of them, even in a way that he ended up basically getting a free therapy session out of them, and where Izuhime was expecting to be taken down and basically submit to that of Izuku and Yusa, his Zanpakuto. Instead, he offered an open hand where all three of them would work together in the future as that of allies, friends, and comrades. And with now Izuku gaining more power with the cursed gear he has in his possession. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? After now gaining that of the cursed gear, Izuhime, and starting to basically learn how to master it. At the same time, he also went to that of the support studio and switched out his costume, switching out from that of the traditional white, that of the fur coat that looked like that of his costume, and that of with that of his, communication sunglasses. He decided to switch to a more, serious approach to that of his hero costume, as it still looks like that of his traditional hero costume. However, it seems more close to that of a trench coat, actually, where the cowl is more made into that of a hood. In a way, think of it like a mix of his World Hero Mission costume outfit, actually. And let's just say Hatsune was pretty adamant on basically giving him any form of support gear. Luckily for him, he does not need support gear after all, given all of his, abilities and powers. However, with learning with that of Izuhime and that of the Nagano, which was known as Karazu after all, he basically was able to understand and wield the blade pretty easily, wield that of the spear like katana-like blade after all. Given that, well, he's used to using that of polearm type weapons, to be honest, especially given that of his, well, that of his Tryon and triggers after all. So, to be honest, he's already mastered it without even breaking a sweat. Next, even developing that of techniques for his cursed gear as well. However, he only made that of 4 techniques, 3 of them only for defensive means though. For his main attack, well, his main attack for that of Izuhime is called that of Cleave. Basically, just like that of the attack that, well, destroyed that of Cementoss's barriers that were keeping him at bay in case he loses control of Izuhime and she ended up taking over his body. With one solitary slash from that of the attack, it can basically turn whatever it cuts into that of particles of light. Basically, it deconstructs it to that of the molecular level, to be honest, before it all fades out in the air, making it a one-hit kill technique. However, there's only one downside to the attack though. That is his attack. The attack comes from that of the blade of the cursed gear, not from that of Izuku's swing of the attack. When Izuku swings, that's when the attack comes out. So, in a way, people can react to it, giving them at least that of a few second window. However, that's only if Izuku gives them that second, though. Given on his abilities to amplify his physical speed, strength, and durability, such as that of Cosmo, total concentration breathing, Nen, Chakra, Reishi, Rei, then he basically has nothing to worry about, after all. Outside of Tryon and his Dying Will Flames, they don't really help him physically in physical strength and ability after all. Especially when Izuku needs one of his triggers to activate his Tryon abilities, which he always keeps on him after all. But as for the techniques he focused on mainly on defense, which basically Izuhime's specialty actually, if you think about it, is one technique called Shield. As the name sakes, it creates that of a fully fledged materialized light shield that whatever comes in contact with, always basic, just like that of the cleave attack, it atomizes it and turns into that of motes of light after all. The shield can basically cover an entire group of people besides just Izuku and become as large as that of a 3-story house. The second defensive attack is known as, well, Glitter, as it creates that of star-like spears of light that circle around Izuku, guarding him from any attacks. Hell, he can even use it offensively, just to make sure that nobody comes near him after all, but when he needs to get to somewhere without anybody attacking him. And the last one, known as Protection. Basically, he can cover that of himself or other people with that of a light attack, a light barrier that covers a person's entire body. Not as whatever comes near it, just like before, turns into motes of light as well, making this one of his best techniques and abilities. However, unfortunately, it's not. It's normally made to overcome that of people with that of supernatural abilities, though. Quirks, on the other hand, can possibly bypass. Certain types of quirks can bypass that of the light barriers. Like, for example, a certain type of elemental-based quirks, for example. Hell, it doesn't even need to be pure elemental itself, as long as it has some aspects of a element to it, like fire, wind, lightning, water, and other stuff like that as well. Is the only thing that can't go through it is things that are made out of matter and carbon as well. So yeah, that's like the only downside to that of the barriers. However, infused with that of nature chakra on the other hand, then it makes it harder for that of, well, certain elemental type quirks, being emitter type quirks, can go through it. Reinforced with Cosmo, and it becomes nearly indestructible. To make up for that if it's lacking, these abilities added in working together as combos, it makes things easier for Izuku to overcome his weaknesses. And through this, he was able to develop new moves for the provisional hero licensing exam. And however, this also gave everybody some time to relax and hang out with each other, get to know one another from time to time as well, especially during the final night, where the guys and girls are separated from one another, while the girls are basically talking one another, having a little bit fun with. However, let's just say both Momo and Ochako are a little bit hesitate on gossiping too much about crushes and all that. Mainly because they don't want to be outed out that they're dating both Izuku after all. They wouldn't know on how the girls would react. Well, they know on at least how a few of the girls would react. A certain pink net would basically tease them all the time. And a certain, well, purplish black-haired girl with that of earjacks would basically want to know on how the hell that they're even having a proper relationship like that, to be honest. Hell, just imagine when they bring up that of you into the picture after all. That is a conversation that they are not looking forward to. Speaking of the guys, they're basically also having some fun as well, basically playing some games in Kaminari's room. And let's just say with that of Shoto, who has never played a single video game in his life, it's a challenge. However, as for that of Izuku though, and a certain other spiky blonde as well, they're actually quite busy outside right now, making sure to go away from that of prying eyes from that of their classmates. As it mainly being Izuku trying to find a way to awaken Bakugo's Ryatsu, allowing him to channel spiritual pressure after all. Feeling like this is the only way for him to basically, well, gain some control over his quirk after all. Given that quirks are tied to souls, to be honest, it's the only way to make sure that whatever One For All is doing to his body, killing him slowly, can be prevented, to be honest. However, given that they've been at this ever since they've been developing that of their special moves, it's been easier said than done. It's been quite frustrating, especially for Bakugo, that he hasn't been able to even awaken at least a little bit of this Ryatsu after all. Well, it looks like Bakugo is basically trying to meditate, channel whatever he can, as every time when he does, all he's doing is channeling One For All, and that's exactly what they're not trying to do. As for Izuku, every time while he's seeing that Bakugo is trying to meditate, he soon tries to see if he's at least waking at least a little bit of spiritual pressure from him. And unfortunately, it's always zero. Not a single burst of spiritual pressure, after all. With Bakugo getting annoyed saying, "Damn it, just screw this shit." But then Izuku saying, "Come on, Kachan, don't give up now. We still got time." Saying, "Seriously, why do we have to keep doing this?" Saying, it's the only thing I can think of. I told you that there's possibly Nen, but all you'd be doing is controlling your aura. And I know that there are some Nen users, depending on how they train their auras, are able to become that of, well, survive for long periods of time, even age up to that of possibly 100 years old. But then, Bakugo's had to say, but then saying, "But that's the thing, it's your aura. It's your soul that's being damaged by One For All, and is shortening your lifespan." When finding out that having One For All and having that of your quirk explosions added onto it is basically destroying your body from the inside out. Not to mention that quirks aren't just biological or genetic, but also spiritual as well. If you learn a little bit, if you're able to control that of your Ryatsu, then that means you can control that of your soul, which means you can control One For All within you without the physical aspect of it. And you will be able to suppress and control whatever is killing, whatever One For All is doing to kill you. But then Bakugo saying, no matter what we do, I can't freaking do it. How the hell did you even get your Ryatsu in the first place, Deku? But then Izuku basically think to himself saying, as soon as I arrived in the world where my master Ichigo was, they were already able to sense that of my Ryatsu after all. Even said that my spiritual pressure was monstrous for a human, they say. But then Bakugo couldn't help but say, seriously? So you just showed up and you already gained that of unnatural power? Saying, yeah, pretty much. It's like that with almost every world I'm going to. But then Bakugo couldn't help but grit his teeth saying, but not every world though. They could sense it, but I had to be the one to learn how to channel it though. And let's just say most of the time it was not easy. Especially when it came to learning how to control my Cosmo. And let's just say the training that Saints have to go through are just terrifying. As Izuku thinks of his training with that of, well, Seiya and the other Bronze Saints, it was not easy at all given the crap they go through. But then Bakugo taking a deep breath saying, fine, I'll figure this out. But for the meantime, show me on how you use the Nen. You've been teaching Shitty Hair, why don't you teach me at least? Saying, I'm teaching Kirishima because I believe Nen works for him. But if I teach you just Nen so you can figure out some ways to prevent One For All from killing you, and just in a way that we can, once I learn you awaken your Ryatsu, then it's just going to be a waste of saying, it's not going to be a waste of time, Deku. But then Bakugo looking down saying, I need every advantage I can get. I promised All Might that I would become the next #1 hero. That I would be the next symbol of peace. That I would be the one to surpass him and take his spot. Endeavor may be holding it as nothing but a placeholder right now. But I swear it. I'm going to give it my all and prove my strength. I'm not going to let One For All's drawbacks and these damn scars hold me back. When I promised myself I wouldn't let All Might down. Not again. When he's entrusted me so much. Same thing goes for you, you damn nerd. So stop babying me and give me what I need to do. Within hearing this, Izuku couldn't help but say, God, you're stubborn. Fine. I'll teach you at least a little bit of Nen. I gotta go through at least out of the 4 principles before I can awaken your Nen. If I don't, well, within Bakugo saying, just to give me the full quick treatment, I don't need the time. Within saying, if I don't give you the four preparations for that of Nen, and if I forcefully awaken it in your body, you will most likely lose a limb, or possibly lose the ability to even walk. Hell, worst chance is that you basically loses a few of your organs may shut down. After saying that, Bakugo saying, what? With Izuku sighing, saying, yeah, the dangers of Nen is that it may be capable and it may be flexible, but it can be dangerous. If I awaken your Nen forcefully without you being fully prepared, then you could lose. Then it comes with that of horrifying drawbacks that can hold you back. As much as I know you're impatient, I would prefer to basically take things slow. It's the same way what I did with Kirishima after all. I had to teach you the 4 stages of Nen, then awaken your aura. So, you want to take this slow, or do you want me to basically cripple you? Your choice, Kachan. Within hearing this, Bakugo could basically hear the threat behind that of Izuku's tone, as part of him couldn't help but get annoyed, but also another part of him couldn't help but be proud as well. Within, Bakugo couldn't help but huff saying, fine, just get it over with, you damn nerd. Within, Izuku couldn't help but smirk saying, will do, Kachan, will do. First, let me tell you about Ten and how you need to circulate across your body. As Izuku begins to label down the 4 basic principles of Nen, for Bakugo, this was just basically another start on trying to keep his rival/friend alive after all these for the next couple of years. The very next day, Class 1A and those with Class 1B are now getting ready to head out towards that of Provisional Hero Licensing Exam, where if they can pass, they can gain that of their provisional licenses, where they'll already be semi-pros, and they'll be able to act in case of an emergency. After hearing this, Izuku couldn't help but basically whistle to himself quietly, given that he's been acting as that of a vigilante for almost a year or so after all. So, to be honest, it kinda already shows that he already has pro experience. But let's not bring that up. While riding on the bus, many of the students couldn't help but basically talk to each other, try and have conversations to relax and go by the time. However, while some were basically getting nervous on what they'll had to face against for that of the provisional licensing exam. However, once they arrive, they see that of the massive stadium where the exam will be taking part. That being the Takako National Stadium. It's an iconic stadium where almost everybody they always take that at the provisional licensing exam after all. Not to mention, it's always also used for that of certain concerts, for that of idol groups too, and even that of professional idol heroes as well. But its main use is for that of the provisional licensing exam and its exam alone though. Only using the stadium for that of special occasions, like I said. With everybody basically seeing the massive stadium, with some getting it all, and some even still a little bit nervous though. But even so, they're still willing to give it their all. With even Kaminari basically saying that they should use their school motto to get them pumped. As they're all about to scream plus ultra, soon somebody else come behind them saying, plus ultra! As being that of a guy wearing that of a, button-up shirt, black pants, and also that of a special made hat with an S on it. Of Izuku and Bakugo looking at the cap as they both realize, wait, I've seen that hat before. Of everybody in the class wondering who the heck this guy is. With then, soon, a guy that was also wearing that of the same cap and also uniform as well, with that of tons of hair saying, Yarashi, you scared that these UA students, and you also say their alma mater as well. Shouldn't you be? That's a little bit disrespectful. Within hearing this, the tall, smiling, and buzz cut wearing guy couldn't help but say, "Oh, that's right. Forgive me. I am sorry." As he bows his head. However, he bows his head so down to the ground to the point that he basically hit himself on that of the pavement after all, but still smiling all the same, freaking out almost everybody in Class 1A. Within, soon, Aizawa saying, Yarashi. Wait, I know him. With, then, soon, a girl was saying, oh, totally acting quite something, Yarashi there. With then saying, oh yeah, you guys from UA, right? It's totes to meet you all, fam. As a few people in Class 1A couldn't help but be confused by her. However, a select few of students could help but basically see that of the blonde-haired girl with a pretty amazing figure and bod. And, well, you know. But then Ochako saying, who are these guys? I knew there were a lot of hero schools, but they seem kind of... Within, Izuku saying they're from Shiketsu. Within, everybody looks like that of Izuku. Within, Kirishima saying, oh yeah, I've heard of Shiketsu before. Aren't they one of the best ranking hero schools alongside UA? With Ida nodding his head saying correct. Shiketsu is normally in that of the West, normally in that of Osaka if I recall. They're also that of they were already a fully formed, boarding school even long before UA became a boarding school. They focus more on unity and also strictness as well. But then, Bakugo couldn't help but comment saying, UA in the east and Shuketsu in the west. But then Aizawa making comments saying, don't let their appearances and attitude fool you. Shuketsu is still one of the best schools in all of Japan next to UA, so you shouldn't underestimate them, especially the one that gave you quite the entrance. Within, Kaminari saying, seriously, Mr. Aizawa? I think you're giving that weirdo too much credit. Within, Aizawa couldn't help but look at Kaminari with that of a somewhat unapproving look, as that of the electrifying blonde couldn't help but feel a little bit terrified, before then saying, that guy is Inasa Yoarashi. And if you must know, he was originally the one who got the top score during the recommendation exam. Within, everybody hearing that, they couldn't help but be completely and utterly shocked, with Momo saying, wait, he got the top score during the recommendation exam? Now that you mention it, I remember it. I may have taken that at the female recommendation exam and got the top score there, but for the males, one of them said that they broke the record for all genders, though. And I thought that was Todoroki, but to think it was him. Suyu could help a comment saying, if that's the case, then that means, with Suyu and everybody else getting that of the same realization, especially the very boy that they were all thinking about, that being Shoto, saying he got the highest score than I did, and yet, why don't I remember him? If he got better score than me, then why? Why didn't he come to UA? Especially forgetting about somebody like him. With everybody commenting saying that he has more potential than that of Shoto, then as I was saying, and yet he chose to basically drop out and soon we had to give it to that of Todoroki instead, and he went to Shuketsu. I wonder why. As Aizawa couldn't ponder any more, he soon hears somebody saying, Eraser, is that you? Oh man, it's been forever. Within knowing that tone of voice, he couldn't help but basically wince a little bit, saying, oh god, not her. As then, everybody in Class 1A couldn't help but notice that of a green net woman with long hair, wearing that of an orange bandana, a black tank top, reinforced knuckle gloves, and also wearing that of puffy striped orange and green shorts, wearing that also with that of black boots. Within, Izuku noticing the woman saying, oh my god, I know her! Within, everybody looking at the green net, within him saying, that's Miss Joke, the comedy hero. With Kirishima commenting saying, not surprising that you would know that of a pro heroine after all. Within Sacho saying, yeah, but it seems like she also knows our homeroom teacher though. I wonder what they got in common. Within, soon, she can help but say, it's good to see you again, Eraser. So, let's get married. Within, Eraser has to up and say, no. As everybody in the class couldn't help but be completely and utterly shocked, except a certain pink-skinned pink neck though, as she couldn't help but have that of sparkles in her eyes. Within, Miss Joke basically laughing it off, saying, oh, you're such a riot, Eraser. You never change. Within, soon, as I was saying, and you never change as well, which is so annoying too. Within, Mina basically going to that of the two adults saying, so, you two know each other? And from that conversation, it seems like you two have quite the history. Within, as Aizawa was about to basically glare at that of Mina, within, Joke saying, oh yeah, actually, we know each other quite well, to be honest. We worked right near the same, our agencies were so close to one another. Both buildings were right next to each other. I used to see him walk by, and I used to catch up with him a few times too. She wouldn't stop bugging me on the way there. We even had that at the same patrol routes as well. I always took night shift. She took night shift too. In a way, it was kind of like destiny. I call it God's sick joke. Within, Joke couldn't help but laugh that off as well. Within, Mina saying, it's like star-crossed lovers. Within, Jiro can help but say, more like a nightmare between polar opposites. Within, Joke stopped laughing before finally noticing that those from Class 1A saying, oh, is this your class? Oh man, I didn't think that you even would still have one this year. Within, some couldn't help but peek at that, while some couldn't help but just laugh at it too. Within, as I was saying, doesn't matter. They're here now, and they're here to show what they're capable of. Within saying, oh, that's good. And also, I brought my students here too as well. Within, seeing that of 4 other students in the back. Within, Izuku saying, I seen those uniforms as well. They're from Ketsubutsu Academy. Within, Momo saying, so that's the school that Miss Joke is working at. Within, 2 people up front, being a guy with that of messy, spiky black hair, with that of quite the sharp, handsome features, with that, and also being that of a girl with that of, well, blonde hair and a large spiked band on that of the right side of her hair, with that of, well, slit with that of 2 twin tails that look spiked up on the behind her too. As the guy with that of the look that almost looks close to that of Izuku, which made both Ochako and Momo kind of wince a little bit at the resemblance. With even Izuku couldn't actually see the resemblance though, as he just saw that of another guy. But then he's saying, "Oh wow, so that's the UA sport, the ones who took over the sports festival by storm, especially Midoriya and Bakugo." Within, the blonde-haired girl can up say, "Oh, and there's Todoroki as well. I wonder if I can get their autographs." Within, that of the messy, black-haired, spiky guy can up say, "Nice to meet you all. The name is Yoshindo, 2nd year at Ketsubutsu Academy, and I'm so looking forward to taking part of the exam with all of you, especially you, Midoriya. You're really cool." Within, Izuku saying, "Oh, thanks." As Izuku can help but give off that of a kind-hearted smile, before then noticing something, as he couldn't help but think, so that's your little angle. Whatever your quirk is has to do with that of vibrations. You thought with basically touching me with that of a mere handshake, or even touching my hands in general, you could basically mess with that of causing my bones to basically vibrate, and to also make them go numb for a bit. You got some nerve, dude." Within, soon saying, "It's a pleasure." As soon he begins to unleash a bit of his Reiatsu, Rei, and also and Nen pressure. However, all directed only at that of Shindo. Within, Shindo could actually feel the overwhelming pressure coming from Izuku that made him want to buckle down to his knees. But then, as he was close to doing so, but he was able to catch himself beforehand, as he lets go of Izuku, saying, "Haha, yeah, nice to meet you too." But then, soon, the blonde-haired girl, known as Tatsumi Nanagami, saw the look on that of her classmate and friend before noticing, as she could actually see him basically shivering, even that of their 2 other classmates behind them. A guy with that of a rock-shaped head, and another guy with that of long black hair, with that of a pretty bland face as well, could help but notice that of Shindo's actions. Within, soon, Shindo could say, "Well, see, hope that you and I can basically get in there and show what we're capable of. See ya." As then, Shindo basically walks off, and that of a pretty fast pace. Within, the others also doing the same. Hell, even Joke was actually a little bit caught off guard too, saying, Shindo's never acted like that before. He's always a lot more friendly." But then, soon, Ochako saying, "Deku, what did you do?" Within, Izuku saying, "Let's just say I gave him a little bit of a friendly warning," that you could say. Within, Momo can help but say, "Midoriya, maybe you shouldn't try and, fear the competition. Who knows what people are going to think of us." Within, soon Kaminari saying, "Still, can't believe that people already recognize us. And it's almost been like forever since the sports festival." With Mina saying, "I know. I guess this is what it's like to be famous after all." Within, Miss Joe couldn't help but have her eyes widening in shock and mouth open too, saying, "Wait, you didn't tell them, didn't you?" Within, Aizawa basically walking off saying, "They don't need to know, at least for now." Soon as they arrive in the stadium, they were soon guided by that of multiple men and women in suits, black suits actually. However, Izuku's aware of these men in black men and women in black in suits. Within, Izuku couldn't help but narrow his eyes a bit. Before then, Ochaku saying, "Hey, Deku, you okay?" But then Momo saying, "You don't seem too alright, Izuku. Care to explain?" Saying, "Later. We're being listened to speak right now." Then, as the girls basically, well, worry for that of their boyfriend, they soon arrive in that of a huge briefing room. But then soon told everybody to prepare and get on that of their hero costumes as well, in that there are changing rooms on the side for everybody. Within a few minutes later to an hour, everybody soon arrived. But then, soon noticing that of a man going to that of the podium wearing that of a gray suit. However, he has that of, well, pale blonde hair and a guy that looks like he hasn't had much sleep in ages. As he goes to the podium and to the mic before then saying, "Hello, my name is Yokimara Mira from the Public Hero Safety Commission." Within hearing that, Izuku saying, "Thought as much." And, oh god. Man, this is so annoying. It's already so tired already. As everybody is kind of feeling somewhat, well, let down and somewhat deflated on what they expect. They kind of expect somebody with at least a lot more energy. Within, Mara can help but say, "Alright, first off, there are way too many of you right now." Within, catches even people more off guard, saying, "So, for this year, we have decided to have the first part of the test be that of a free-for-all battle, actually." Causing many people to mutter and basically, well, be shocked even more. Within, saying, "However, this is going to be focusing more on that of your capabilities and and how far that you can go. Normally, we would always take things a lot more slowly for other tests for the past years, but this time, it's about time that we do a little bit of changes." Oh god, I could really go for some coffee right about now. The reason that we are deciding to change things up a little bit for the exam is mainly because people are worried about the current status of Hero Society right about now, especially on certain incidents that have happened in the past couple of months. Within, Izuku saying, "Thought as much. However, I wonder what the Public Hero Safety Commission will do, especially about a certain little bird that's been keeping an eye on me since. Not to mention a certain little, well, denim head after all." Starting off with the issues with that of the hero killer, for example. Ever since of his rhetoric and how famous he has become, people has basically called the question of the order and standards of heroes. Personally, I call it ridiculous and meaningless. Just thinking about it is making me exhausted. It's only natural that pros should be compensated for their actions. They're going in to have with their lives in danger, so they should be paid for risking their lives. Simple as that. Not to mention, let's also bring up the fact of the issues of certain vigilantes that have causing quite a bit of a stir within Hero Society as well. Such as that of the vigilantes known as the Ronin, Ion, and the Shadow, especially given their incidents and that of a certain important battle in Kamino Ward. Within hearing that, Izuku actually couldn't help but actually bunch up a bit. Realize, figures as much. Most vigilantes do what they do mainly for out of attention or out of publicity, mainly because they either feel like they are a hero washout or that they are basically not, they have no other choice. These three pros don't care about fame, fortune, or glory. It seems like these vigilantes only care more about helping others, which some have called to question if, why are vigilantes needed if the pros are needed much as more? They have better training, right? And yet these vigilantes have more experience and have more capture rates than that of other pros. and even called into that of the pros' questionability. Do pros care more about fame and glory in their money, in their paychecks, more than that of the vigilantes who do what they can for others? This test is to see if the next generation can do better than that of mere vigilantes and know what it takes to get the job done, no matter what. Within, Izuku saying, I get it now. Within, Ochaku saying, Deku? What do you get? Now I know why the Hero Public Safety Commission is changing things up. They want more pros out on the streets, which means they want to test to see how many hero students have what it takes to be a true hero in their eyes. Within, saying, you're all here to gain your provisional hero licensing. And just like I said before, there are way too many of you. Some of you have tried this test once and failed. Some of you see this as that of your last opportunity to gain one. Well, I got news for you. Things are a little bit different. Within, soon, on that of a monitor showing the first 100 who are only capable of passing this test. Every last one of you will be out. Within, hearing this, everybody began to freak out and become a little bit scared for what's to come, with Momo saying, but that can't be. If only 100 of us pass, and yet there are over 1,000 students here. And within, so you saying, then that means the pass rating is even lower than that of 5%. That's normally that of 3 to 2% actually. Then Mira continues saying, for example, your first task would be taking out each other through that of the free-for-all, as I said before. You'll be giving that of 3 tags. You have to put these on your body, but make sure that they're not covered or anything. If they're covered more times than you can be counted, then you're out, disqualified. Next up, you'll be giving that of 6 balls. Each of these balls light up that of the targets on the figure. However, if all targets are lighting up, if the last target on the person is hit by that of a different person, then that person will gain the points though. Anyone that complains that you were able to hit more targets onto them, it does not matter. As long as they're out by one person, then that's all that matters. Within, hearing that, everybody begins to freak out, and some even getting more competitive, especially a select few. So, and now with all that taken care of, I can finally get at least some break time, and it's already and letting you know now, it is begun. Within, after saying that, the walls of the briefing room soon basically go down, showing that they're already inside of the massive arena with multiple different other zones. As in a way, those in Class 1A kind of remind them back at that of the USJ in a way, but now less in a threatening way where they were attacked by that of villains though, or didn't even get a chance to be attacked thanks to that of Izuku though. As all of the participants begin to head out, seeing that everything has already just begun. But then, in that of the stands, with Aizawa taking a seat, however, in that of 3 seats right next to that of his right on his left, being that of Miss Joke, saying, "Wow, you really must like your class since you didn't expel them this time." Saying they just have potential. I never said I liked them at all. But then saying, "Please date me." Saying no, as Joke couldn't help but laugh. Before then saying, "I must say, honestly, I must agree with her, Eraser, even for somebody who was once that of a student of UA as well. When I graduated and heard that you became that of a teacher, I hear that you had that of quite the brutal teaching style. To think that you would not expel your entire class this year shows even quite promise, I must say." As the person speaking this, being Best Genius, within, Joke saying, "Oh, Best Genius, what are you doing here?" Thought I would basically scope out that of potential sidekicks after all. And there are certain other students there are certain other participants who I have my eyes on. But then, Joke saying, "Oh, really? Who are they?" "Well, I best not tell." But then, Aizawa couldn't help but narrow his eyes, saying, "Figures. So Hawks isn't going to be here because it'd be too easy given the Hero Public Safety Commission's here. So I'm guessing it's Genus's turn to keep an eye on Midoriya." And yet, within, remembering that of the issues with that of tons of the vigilante cells of Izuku, Shadow, Ronin, and Ion are still at large and still doing their duties as that of vigilantes. Showing Midoriya he's trying to do his best to keep that of, well, everything, keep people off of him and away from him. Honestly, it's easier said than done given your huge power set, Midoriya. But then Joke saying, "But in all seriousness, why didn't you tell them after all? Especially given on how much UA suffers during that of the, well, provisional hero licensing exams." But then that of Genus saying, "I must say, even during my time, we had to take that of the second. I had to take it during my second year instead of my first year. Given that the first years and third years are seen more during the sports festivals than that of the second years after all. And yet, you decided to bring your class here during their first year to that of the exam instead. Why?" But then, as I was saying, doesn't matter. Back in that of the field, within, Izuku saying, "We all have to stick together, now." Within, hearing this, Bakugo saying, "The hell are you talking about, Deku?" Saying, "Look, I know that you're always wanting to play the loose cannon and think you can do things by yourself, Kachan, but this isn't a time for that. Especially given that almost everybody here knows what we're capable of." Within, hearing this, Ochako saying, "Wait, what do you mean?" Within, Ida saying, "Of course, the sports festival." Within, Shoto saying, "Figures." Within, Izuku running off as everybody else begins to go after him. Even Bakugo couldn't help but click his tongue before going after that of his rival too. Even Shoto, who was thinking about going off on his own to make sure he doesn't hurt anybody around him, he decides to basically do it just in case Izuku is right. With Momo speaking up saying, "You say they're going to be coming after us due to the sports festival," saying, "Yeah, definitely. Unlike that of other schools, UA goes through that of the UA Sports Festival constantly. In a way, it's supposed to help us get scouted out by that of internships. But in another, it's a double-edged sword. Other schools, other hero students would also be seeing us out too, alongside villains too as well. Even though we've all improved, they know ways to basically try and counteract us, especially with people with quirks that can counteract ourselves as well. That's why working as a group is better than working on our own." With Bakugo cut up a huffing saying, "Even if they do know what we're capable of, it doesn't damn matter. We'll overcome it all." But then soon somebody spoke up saying, "Nice words to live by. Too bad it's not enough." But then all the students from that of Ketsubutsu begins to throw their balls at them. Within, saying, "Midoriya, you got one heck of unique ability, but let's just see if you're capable of overcoming all of this." Within, all the balls begin going straight for that of Class 1A. However, Izuku materializes that of Izuhime's Karosatsu, as then bringing down that of the Nagano, saying, "Izuhime, shield!" As the light barrier soon materializes. But then, all the balls that were going straight for that of Class 1A soon were all atomized into light. With everybody completely and utterly shocked, even Shindo saying, "What the?" But then, Izuku saying, "Guys, now!" If everybody began activating and using their quirks, with even some using that as their support gears to prepare. But then Izuku bringing up that of his cursed gear before spinning it around, saying, you may have that of knowledge on our quirks and may have found countermeasures to go against them. But there's one thing that you don't prepare for." Within, Izuku giving off a smile alongside everybody else in Class 1A. We're prepared for anything to come our way, with all of them saying, yeah! As Class 1A's test for the Provisional Hero Licensing Exam begins now. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. Sorry that this was another training chapter and stopping it off on that of the Provisional Hero Licensing Exam beginning. Well, I'm not too sorry about that, but honestly, it was more of a way to basically bring out some things, mainly with that of Izuku training and growing stronger with that of his new ability being his cursed gear after all, and also him trying to still find ways to help Bakugo from basically slowly dying to him having that of more than one quirk after all. When bringing up Nen, given that, well, Netero, one of the oldest characters and was originally one of the strongest characters in Hunter x Hunter, actually lived for a long ass time due to practicing his Nen constantly, is more of a temporary means for Bakugo to survive after all. However, again, I blame that of Hirikoshi for bringing the fact that quirks are also spiritual, given that they made souls exist, and that really pissed me off. To be honest, when quirks were always more logical and a lot more reasonable to understand, now, this just makes things even more of a pain and an annoyance to deal with. If it was just a life force kind of thing, and basically a genetic taboo with that of one for all, then possibly healing alone could basically prevent that of Bakugo's dying and all that. But having the whole spirit bullshit, it just really pisses me off. And now I need a way to basically balance that. So yeah. At any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to get to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All link in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys. Hope you all take care. Shiro Kitsune, my lovely lady, you know what to do.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!